there we go.
Okay. Um, hey. Okay, we're back to the original. Like,
We are
who
so
the hell was I saying hey to? Hey.
so Kathy, where have you been? We're starting a little late this week.
We definitely are. We definitely are, but it was a really good cause. Really good cause.
Oh,
My daughter and I went to see Culture Club.
oh,
Does that get
oh,
any more 80s?
that's awesome. I
Um,
love Boy George.
he was amazing. I will say, um, everyone was old. I guess it's time to come to grips to this. And it was really funny to watch everybody coming in because it was an old person with a young person that was clearly their child who was being dragged, or it was incredibly bored husbands. Like like
It's people.
I don't know. But Boy George is 64. Like we
He
have to
looks
come.
amazing. Oh my God.
And he was super funny. He like interacted like at one point he has that posh British accent of his, and at one point all the people we were up in the in the nosebleed seats, but which was a tiny theater, so nosebleed is pretty extreme. We were still pretty close, but they were all crowded around the stage, and he at the end of the song he's like, "What, do we have like a little impromptu mosh pit going here because it's half baked?" I was like, that's pretty hilarious. I'm like, yeah, these people can't mosh pit anymore. They might, break a hip or,
That's what I was gonna say. Break a hip.
but okay, we're not really that old. We're not really that old.
We're not. The other people are. We're not.
But the other thing that was interesting was like he can't really sing his own hits because he sang so much higher. And so he sang his hits, but he had to have backup singers kind of smooth over the and then he did a bunch of covers. Like he did Let's Dance by David Bowie. He did I'm Your Man by George Michael. He did Sympathy for the Devil, which is very appropriate to our chat.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of wild for him.
he opened with The Clash. Like I was like, what is going on? And about halfway through, M for you guys who don't know my daughter Emily, she turned to me and she's like, I feel like we've been invited to his private karaoke party. Because he just kept randomly singing things. So, but it was so much fun. And Em and I danced, and
Did he
um,
do Karma Chameleon? He better
he
have.
he
Okay,
ends with Karma Chameleon.
that's the
Uh,
best.
yeah, yeah. But he did all the hits. Like he did Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? He didn't do I'll Tumble For You,
Oh,
but he did Time. He did
good.
Miss Me Blind. He did It's a Miracle. So he did all the like hits. But yeah, it is a little sad to see him like kind of not be able to. I didn't really think about how kind of high he sang. Like,
He really did. I saw
yeah,
some stuff on TikTok where people had recorded the concert, and his voice was a lot lower, and I was really surprised because I was waiting for it, and I was like, why is it not going any higher? It's just,
yeah. He
but
had great musicians though, so it was totally entertaining. But I'm gonna segue in because I
oh,
think this is a good spot because we know. I think this is probably very apparent. Even though we're not talking about Boy George being part of Satanic Panic, I have no doubt he made a list somewhere for Satanic Panic.
oh, I'm sure he was on the naughty list for
He
sure.
was he was on the naughty list. So again, like we did last time, we're doing a little disclaimer that we are talking about Satanic Panic, and while we will be talking about things that caused real religious and other traumas to people, we're going to be making fun of things because some of this is ridiculous. And as we said before, for Gen X, humor was not an option, it was a survival skill. So, with that, we're going to go back into Satanic Panic. And I'm going to ask you, what do you remember about cartoons and Satanic Panic?
Well, I know we were talking about the Smurfs last time. I wasn't supposed to watch the Smurfs, so I didn't watch them until later, but there was a lot of cartoons I remember
Yeah.
would have probably fallen into that category. But Smurfs was probably like the
Yeah.
worst.
Well, and Smurfs is definitely one I watched. I was completely oblivious to the satanic undertones of the whole thing. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of these I did not watch. For some reason, I don't know if you've seen this, they seem to be very male-based shows. Because I didn't watch, well, the number one that I found was He-Man.
I loved He-Man. I watched it every day when I got home from school, and I was literally like 13.
Yeah.
That and my brother was 15, and we literally watched that every time we got home from school. So I love that show.
Okay. Well, I didn't, but we did have He-Man toys. We had the action figures. My mom found them at a yard sale and just bought a whole box of them. See, my mom was just pushing the satanic. Like, she had
Please
no.
be an evil child.
She really like it was a huge like box of like we had Castle Grayskull and
Oh
I'm like
yes.
I'm playing with this stuff and I'm like I don't know who any of these things are but whatever. Um but yeah, so they were on the top of the list of the cartoons that were satanic. I mean, Skeletor, pretty evil looking dude.
Well, plus with He-Man, he and it tells you this in every intro. I literally watched it to refresh, and then I started like just repeating it because I remembered it word for word. But his name was Adam, and he was just like a normal person, but they didn't live on Earth. He was normal until he picked up that sword, and then he said the words by the power of Grayskull. Then it gave him these powers, and he also shot at his damn cat, which was a big, like a tiger. What was his name? Cringer. And then Cringer became Battle Cat, and then Battle Cat was brave. But the thing with him is he got his power from Grayskull, and he would say he was the most powerful man in the universe.
Oh.
That was his thing, and he would hold his sword. So,
Oh.
and then there was a sorcerer woman as well. There were three sidekicks: a sorcerer, a guy I can't remember, and something that looked like an Ewok. I don't know what that was.
Oh,
So but it reminded me of the Hulk because he was
okay.
just a mild mannered guy, except he was buff. And then all of a sudden, he's He-Man, Master of the Universe, and it's like,
So he wasn't saying, you won't like me when I'm mad.
no, he was like, you'll like me when I get the power of Satan. Then
Well,
you'll
yeah,
love me.
that was a given. That was a given. Um, yeah, so that was considered one of the things that was pushed was that was an incantation. That was a, bringing evil in. That was going to teach kids. Again, we touched on this all pretty much over and over with toys. The power within you, or although I don't know, would this really be power within you? He was kind of getting power from an external.
Well, it was kind of like the way he was, the way he was getting power from whatever this gray skull was, it would light up in his heart light and it would turn him into something powerful. So it's
Right, so
always here.
well, we have this theme, which now, in retrospect, I guess Steven Spielberg or whoever wrote E.T. kind of ripped off from everything. Because E.T., when was
Bears,
E.T.?
everything.
Although I was pretty young when E.T. came out, so I don't know.
I wasn't allowed to watch ET. To this day, I've never seen the whole movie. I need to. I know something about Reese's Pieces.
But honestly, I was traumatized by that movie. I feel like that was more
Really?
traumatic than any like satanic cartoon or toy because well they experiment on him. The scientists
I
come
didn't know that. See, I
and
never
they're
watched it. I remember something about him being in the closet and the little boy, and he would put out little Reese's Pieces. And I
yeah,
remember him, of course, in the bicycle basket, but
right.
I never saw the movie, so
No,
I'd have got to watch it.
like scientists came because an alien was found and they were like and they were killing him. Like because of course if we don't understand what it is, then we must
Kill it first and then ask questions like, well, where did he come from, though? I mean, how was he just laying there one day? I mean,
yeah, he crashed. So the
Okay.
beginning, that's at the end of the movie. They actually get him away. Like the kids, that's when he's in the bicycle basket and they're riding away with him and they're trying to get him to like the mothership or whatever so he can go back to his home planet. But I cried through all of that. And I actually saw it in the movie theater. There you go, over the drive-in. The drive-in.
Oh.
So there's a memory for everyone. Uh I saw it at the drive-in and remember how they showed two movies? So it was that and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I remember being so much happier with Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like that I could handle.
I didn't care for Raiders of the Lost.
You didn't?
The first drive-through movie I remember going to was Star Wars, and I fell asleep. And to this day, I can't get through a Star Wars show. I just find it so boring. I'm sorry. I'm a Star Trek
Yeah.
person. I'm a Trekkie. I can't. Star Wars.
Well, I have to say, I just literally texted somebody today a quote from Star Wars, which is my favorite quote, which is when Chewbacca's laughing at Han Solo, and Han Solo turns to him and says, "Laugh it up, fuzzball." And I literally texted that to somebody today. So I liked both, but I did love Star Trek too. And I love the special effects in Star Trek, but that could probably be its whole own episode of memories of like what we thought were cool special effects for our
What we thought
generation.
was, yeah,
We're like,
exactly.
oh, um, but we'll get back to cartoons. We'll get back to cartoons. We
What
get
were some
off track.
other ones? I don't remember. Besides He-Man, She-Ra. That was
See,
kind of
I didn't
along the
watch
same line.
I didn't watch She-Ra either. I don't know where I was.
She was like an Amazon woman, and that was like Amazonian or something.
Well,
And that
that.
was the big thing with her. But I didn't watch a lot of that, but I liked He-Man better, so I don't know.
Well, do you remember? Again, we're having a little nostalgia time, everyone. So
Yeah,
join in with us. Join in with us. Do you remember Isis, the actual live people, and she'd spin
I
and turn
remember
in?
Wonder Woman spinning. I
I
watched
think
Wonder Woman
I think Isis spun too. I watched Wonder Woman too, but
because
um,
Wonder Woman was Amazonian too, wasn't she?
yes, I'm surprised because Isis was Egyptian, and I know you like the
Yeah,
Egyptian.
yeah. But I
So,
didn't. I never saw that one. I don't
I,
think.
well, I don't remember much about it. I don't know what I was doing in in the 80s. I don't remember a lot. Like, okay, well, we're going right into another one
Okay.
that I found. I did want to make one point. You were talking about wait, let me, you know me in my notes. I can't remember anything. Um
Same.
uh, oh no, it was He-Man. Where they were located was Eternia, which I thought was interesting because, again, we're going to the heaven thing. Eternia, like, what were they saying? And they do actually say that Skeletor, who of course looked creepy and skeletal, was an evil sorcerer. So that put him on the chopping block for.
Yeah, I tell you what's weird. My mom, I guess because I was 13, and she did not seem to care that we watched He-Man, but with her mindset, she was trying to rationalize. Jehovah's Witnesses, they're so strict about everything. But to her, when something was said about it, she said that to her it was the representation of good versus evil. That's how she separated in her brain. That it was
Mhm.
just good fighting evil and good was winning, so that was okay. She never watched the show, but that was how she tried to justify that.
I'm sure
I
if she'd
watched.
watched the show.
Yeah, if she watched it, she would not have liked it. She just, but yeah,
Well, the next big one, and this one's got some pretty heavy like imagery, was Thundercats. And again, I did not watch Thundercats.
I did not watch that one, and I looked it up, and it came out when I was like 15.
Okay, maybe that was the.
Because I
Yeah.
started working when I was 16 at a restaurant. So by then it was like I didn't
No,
pick my cartoons back up till I was at least in my 20s.
right. Well, interestingly, I found this interesting fact about Thundercats, which I would not have guessed because now the stop animation Christmas specials that we all grew up with, and I'm sure everybody out there remembers the
Rudolph's
Rudolph and
Frosty.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Thundercats was created by Rankin Bass, which was
That's,
this. Do you remember that at the beginning of those Christmas specials, it would have the little
yeah, I
Rankin
remember that
Bass?
name. I remember seeing that.
It didn't seem like those tied together to me, but it was basically science fiction. Um, Kind of He-Man like, except for everybody was sort of an animal type human. So they were a, what do they call it? Anamorphic or
Like, yeah,
uh
like the hybrid. And I looked it up today and it reminded me of that children's book series Animorph because my oldest daughter loved those and my kid loves them. He loves those too, where they would morph into different animals.
okay, well, yeah, so but interestingly, now I can see where the church had some stuff to run with here because the villain in this was called Mum Ra and was a immortal kind of like zombie mummy priest who would then get its power. And I'm gonna have to look this up because again, I didn't watch this, so it didn't like really resonate as much, but it's interesting to me. I mean, they actually specify that technically he is not a demon, he's a supernatural warlock sustained by ancient evil power.
Well, that makes a big difference right there. He's a
Right, he's
warlock.
not a demon.
He's not a demon, he's a warlock.
But yeah, so I totally get why this fell into I mean, Satanic Panic, the churches must have been all over this
Oh, I bet.
because, and they couldn't kill him. Like when the battle would happen, they just sort of uh get him under control again. He'd become this withered mummy and go back to his sarcophagus until he could sort of regroup his eternal evil
He was
and come back.
immortal.
Right, he was immortal, so it
Yep.
was like an endless battle with evil. And I was like, well, I can see how this one, even though I missed it completely. And
Same.
again, I don't believe it, but I can see how it got into the
Well, just the human hybrid aspect of it, the human animal hybrid, that would have set them off too. And then add in a warlock that's immortal.
it's funny you were talking about you were working. Probably I missed some of these cartoons because I was too busy being completely addicted to American Werewolf in London. I would rent that movie over and over and over. Speaking of animals turning into or humans turning into animals. Did you
I'm
watch
a,
that one?
I'm afraid to say I have never seen that.
That one you need to put on your list. Such a good movie.
I
But
lived in isolation. That's why I watched cartoons when I was able to, but
well, and that's another thing we should talk to our watchers about the joy of Saturday morning cartoons. Children will never understand again the anticipation. You had to get your bowl of cereal or whatever ready. You were
plop yourself in front of the TV and you couldn't be too loud in my house because my dad might wake up and he'd be like, turn that down. But yeah, you sit as close as you can, and of course they're like, "You're gonna go blind, back up." But you wanted to see what was going on.
but it's so funny because like I feel like that is like a lost feeling of like you waited all week for this like and it was what I think they played for like 3 or 4 hours in the morning
Yeah,
like
wasn't
then it
that
was
like what time did they start? Like 7 in the morning or something, and it played until noon, I think.
noon, yeah.
And the thing, you couldn't pause it. If you missed it, you missed it. And then when the commercials, you ran to the bathroom or put your dish up or got something else. So you had to.
Oh,
It was that run, that dash and dive back into your spot.
yes,
Kids don't
absolutely.
understand that these
They
days.
don't have any understanding of how like amazingly like you had that to look forward to every week.
Exactly. It was
Like,
exciting. It was like that was your reward. But also, we would get up super early for school, and then we would have like Captain Kangaroo. You know,
always watch Captain
I
Kangaroo.
love Captain
Me
Kangaroo so much.
too.
I forget what the other ones were, but that was my favorite one. But there,
Okay, so I have like a fever dream
oh,
that I swear happened on Captain Kangaroo. Maybe you can tell me about. I swear that Tony Randall was singing a Paul McCartney song on Captain Kangaroo. Now, and I have a vivid he's where he was singing into like one of those megaphone mics, and it was a song by Paul McCartney called You Gave Me the Answer. And I mean it's very detailed. So if I dreamt this, I don't know. But anyway, anybody out there, if you remember this, Tony Randall singing a song on Captain Kangaroo, please save my sanity and tell me this really happened.
Well, it would make sense. I mean, I can see him on a show like that singing because that's what he was all into the theater and stuff. So
Right.
I can see him being a guest on a show like that. I mean, oh, there was another one. Was this on the Electric Company, Mr. Peabody? Was that his name?
Oh, with the
No,
glass,
not Peabody, Goodbody, Mr. Goodbody. He
oh,
had
with the
the,
full bodysuit.
yes, yes. What
Oh,
was he on? What one was he on?
you're right. What was he on?
Well, I don't know if it was the Electric Company or if it was one of the morning shows. I love that. I was fascinated by that. I thought it
Yes,
was gross and cool.
I remember that very well. And yeah, I wonder what happened to him.
I don't know. I've got to look up Mr.
That's
Goodbody.
that's a pretty niche gig.
Nowadays, they would consider that like really bad, naughty or something, just
Eh,
because you showed your organs.
well, and yep, I do remember that. And Romper Room. Do you remember Romper Room?
I'm not sure.
All I know is they had this, there would be real children, like I guess the predecessor to Barney with the real kids, but it would be real children and it would be different children, I think, every week. It wasn't like a cast of, but they had these toys called Clomp Stoppers. Clomp Stompers. They were like plastic cups with string, like not strings, it was almost like a plastic tubing type thing, but you walked on them. They were kind of like stilts, and you walked around on them.
Mhm.
And I wanted them desperately. Um, and then to have a much older brother, he taped string onto salad bowls. Those remember those wooden salad bowls that look like patchwork? What were the?
Yeah.
He made them for me for Christmas and wrapped
Oh,
them up.
that's so cool.
Although I was not pleased, I wanted the real
You
deal.
wonder, well,
But
little
anyway,
knob.
I was a snob. I was a total snob.
Knob.
Um, oh yeah, all those shows and yeah, Electric Company. Do you remember Banana Splits?
A little bit. I know
Yeah.
the name. I remember it a little bit, but not a whole lot because we traveled so much. So I really only watched the shows if we were staying like in a motel for a few weeks. Then I had like TV, but usually I was in the car. So
Right.
a lot of them.
Oh no. Well, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to think of more. See, we're having Satanic Panic and nostalgia. This is
Exactly.
like,
That's what all of it is. What were some other cartoons? Wasn't there some more on your list? What was?
oh, of the Satanic? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this one again, I feel like this didn't come into its heyday until I was much older, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love them. I had the characters until like no, about 10 years ago, and stupid me got rid of them. Damn, that would have been worth something.
Yeah.
I was Raphael, let me tell you. I was. I wore my red bandana, and I think literally I lived by myself at this time. I had rented a little trailer and I worked a full-time job, and the neighbors had this little 5-year-old boy, and I was out there with him all the damn time. I was Raphael, he was Leonardo. We
That
were out there all the time.
that's hilarious.
He wouldn't even call me my name. He would call me Raphael.
I love
Like,
it.
Leonardo, what are we gonna do? I can't
That'll
believe that would be part of the Satanic Panic. What
well,
what was wrong with that besides they were giant?
they didn't care that they were giant turtles. They cared that they were practicing Eastern religion.
Oh, where they would do the meditation from the sensei, and he would
Yep.
have them like try to be calm and not go crazy with all their pizza and
Yes, that was what the the churches that were involved in this, that was their big issue, was it was teaching Eastern, and it was in one of them, one of the quotes from one of the churches, it wasn't just Eastern religion, it was Eastern occultism.
Oh,
Yes, yes. And also brotherhood, which could be construed as cult
cult-like
mentality.
behavior.
I'm like, it's not a huge cult. Let's just throw it out there.
Well, now the rat did treat them like, he was the cult leader, and they would sit at his feet when he was teaching them how to be the best turtles they could be.
Hmm.
And then, of course, they had some evil creature that had also been mutated that they always were having to fight. And I'm thinking in my head the whole time, all of this is going on in the sewage under the city, and nobody knows about this. Why does no one know about this stuff? It's right there. They had a problem with kids trying to get into the sewer system after that happened because they were trying to go underground looking for
It's
the turtles.
it's so funny because they kind of had a real resurgence when my nephews, that's when they did like the live action,
Yeah,
or
it came back and it's
yeah.
still popular now.
Well, and my nephews who who are now in their, I think one of them's almost 40, so there you go. But one of my nephews, my parents had this weird driveway, and it actually had a grate, like a
Mhm.
sewer grate in the driveway. And I got out of the car and I dropped my keys, and it went right down the grate. And I
Oh,
remember my nephew Russell, if Russell ever watches, hi Russell, he was real little, and he looked at me with all sincerity. Sorry, everyone, that is my dog. Um, with all sincerity, said, "Don't worry, the Ninja Turtles will bring it back."
Remy's got a fan. Did you notice?
I
They
saw Remy has
commented
a
about.
fan.
Yeah, I was like, "Yay, Remy!"
Yeah, I
Remy's
love that.
got.
Well, actually, we have another great segue.
Oh, okay. What is it?
The last one, although there were plenty more that made it, cartoons that made it on a like episodes were called out or whatever. The last one was my all-time favorite, which includes a dog.
Could it be this guy here?
It could be that guy. I loved Scooby Doo. I still love Scooby Doo. I will still watch Scooby Doo. I will watch the live action. I will watch the cart because Emily ended up loving Scooby Doo. Yes. No one ever No one ever anywhere has pointed out that I am Velma. No one. That's never happened.
You're totally Velma. I believe that.
I think I told you for one of my Halloween parties I went as Velma.
I did not
And
know that. I can
well
see that. You could do. You could definitely be Velma.
well and orange is my favorite color. So it all like, but I was dressed in the Velma outfit and somebody asked me who I was. And I was like, Velma. And they're like, "Oh, I just kind of thought you were dressed up as yourself."
Well, how rude. That's terrible.
I'm clearly Velma when you actually think I'm just dressed as myself. But
I can't
so
believe that one's on there. I mean, that's so silly.
it, well, here's the silliest part. Okay, so there is the spooky aspect, there's the ghost, but every single episode ends with this isn't real. It was a human. How can we make that like this is real? So everything else was villainized because it was fantasy that was corrupting children, da da da. Then you have a cartoon that's like, well, that wasn't a real ghost, that wasn't a real frozen caveman or
Who's behind the mask?
right. And that made the list, which shocked, I mean, I guess it doesn't really shock me, but um yeah. And so we had other ones that, again, weird ones that just got, they were kind of like micro on the radar, which included, of all things, Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, how do you even get these ones? Like, you really have to be doing some like satanic
You
like,
got to be really well. There's some people that just think everything has a satanic origin to it. It's
mhm.
just anything that's not from their church, I guess, is satanic. But
Mm.
Mr. Rogers, unless it's the little make believe thing with the
That's
trolley, that's got to be that's the only part. I don't think they were upset about the cardigans, and I think his mother literally made those. I was reading something the other day that his mother made everybody and the family members these sweaters each Christmas, and that's why he always wore his sweater. And I
that I
thought that
love
is so cool that he was
that.
wearing his mom's sweaters every time. But that's not satanic. Got to
No, and
be
it,
got to be the trolley.
I mean, it's just nutty. I mean, um, but yeah, I mean, and then of course we already covered the toys, so the Care Bears cartoon was in there, My
Oh,
Little
honey.
Pony, all those made and but Smurfs was really, really, really on like that. I am shocked that that really was like the goat of Satan. Like Smurfs were gone after. It's so crazy. Um, but Scooby Doo, love my Scooby Doo.
You know,
You know,
well, I was just going to say, I was reading something about how there was like this tiny, small group that was trying to say Velma was like really evil. I mean, she was like the leader of this satanic thing, that she had the reason she was the one doing all this stuff, she was kind of like the leader behind the scenes in a way, because she had this slip of reality where she lived in a fantasy world and she was always hunting spirits, and she was like a paranormal, ghost hunter basically. So they really thought she was the worst because she was the smartest, and smart girls are satanic.
I mean, they're
So
not. You can't trust them. They're up to no good. And I mean, nobody. Okay, so Scooby Doo aside, we know that Shaggy and Scooby were crazy about the Scooby snacks, so they were clearly high.
these guys were high.
They were high. And then you had Fred and Daphne, who, yes, exactly, who never found Fred is terrifying.
Pay no
You
attention.
can you cannot trust a man in an orange ascot. I'm sorry, you can't.
So
No,
you
wait,
had
wait, wait,
these
wait. No,
two.
no, PG,
Oh,
PG.
you had these two, and then you had her, the
Evil
evil,
one.
evil Velma.
But it is really funny that like every episode, like it'd always go into their different groups to go search. And it's like Fred and Daphne never found anything because they
Oh,
were
they
busy
found
making
something.
out. They were back in the mystery machine. They didn't even look. And the other thing that's really funny, and actually my daughter pointed it out, because again, she's a big Scooby Doo fan, and I was talking to her about these. She's like, why did they even keep trying to find ghosts and say it was a ghost, given that at the end of every episode it was just a person? So, like, why didn't they go into it like, okay, it's probably a person? Like, they were still trying to find the
They were,
sneaky ghost.
well, well, there was one show. I don't know if you ever saw it. I think we actually still have it on DVD because we have all the Scooby Doo's. Um, the one that really got them, and this was years later, there was one where it really was something
Uh,
real, and
Finally.
there was like a whole group of witches, young witches that had like that. Do you remember that one? There was like
Yes,
a coven, a bunch of girls. They
they
were,
had a band, right?
yeah, yeah,
The band one,
yep.
because believe it or not, this Christmas I just bought Emily a T-shirt that was the Hex Girls. That's what
That's
their name.
it. That's the one. It was the Hex Girls. Yeah. And that one was real. That one really was about a spirit that came out and was like tormenting, what was it, a town or something. So that
Yes, it
one
was the
was
town.
real. And plus during that one, the Hex Girls were literally doing spells and incantations. They had their pentagram drawn out. I mean,
Mhm.
they pushed the boundaries on this one big time. They were like wearing the pentagrams. They're like holding hands. They got the candles, and they're like,
And
speaking
that one was made
weird.
more in the 2000s, right? Early
Yeah, that one
2000s.
was a much older one.
I bet you that was
I
maybe
mean, much newer one, much newer one, not older.
that maybe that was like thumbing their noses at all the satanic panic. They're like, okay, well, if we're gonna, we'll just
Let's.
embrace
I
it.
bet they were like, we need to jump the shark. Let's make a real one. Finally, after when was it put out? Like in the 70s. It wasn't the 70s. 30 years later, let's jump the shark.
Actually, yeah. Do you remember that Scooby-Doo, like Captain Kangaroo, had special guests? Remember they had Sonny and Cher?
They had a lot of special guests,
Yeah.
actually. They had the Globetrotters. I remember that. But they were also on Gilligan's Island. So,
That's right.
and here's a fun fact: I saw the Globetrotters live when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I also, uh, totally Gen X here. When I was in kindergarten, guess who came to my school in Vermont and sang to us? And we all sat around on the floor, and they were like right there with us.
I
Guess
have
who?
no.
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
There you go.
Woo!
Do you know
Yeah.
what? I have a Peter, Paul, and Mary tie. I
Oh,
mean,
do you really?
do you know who brought internet to my parents' hometown of Ellsworth, Maine?
No.
Paul Stuckey of Peter, Paul, and Mary. He lived there. He lived near there, and he was the one who funded bringing in, like, building internet.
Oh,
Uh,
I know that. I think Mary's husband had a connection in Vermont, right around Rutland area where I'm from, and they would just go and do little shows and stuff for the kids.
I love it.
Because I just kept racking my brain going, who were those people? Because there was that pretty woman with the blonde hair. I think she had blonde hair.
Yep.
She had the tambourine, and I was like right in front of her, sitting on my knees, and she just tapping it, and they were singing to us, and I was like, because I started looking it up, and saw where they actually had done a bunch of little shows and stuff in Vermont, and I'm like, I knew it. I knew
Yeah, but weren't they singing Puff the Magic Dragon, which is about drugs, apparently? So.
that's evil. What was that song? If I Had a Hammer, wasn't that?
Mhm.
That was what I remember. We were all singing that song.
That's really cool.
I'm sure that
No,
was satanic.
no, but I'm sure
Those
all
hammers.
hammers
Those
hammers are satanic.
hammers.
Um, yeah, Rumford, we didn't get anybody famous to Rumford, Maine. I think that's our, I mean, there are plenty more, and we'd love to hear what everyone thinks about what cartoons they watch, if they heard things were satanic. We do have 4 stories. We have 4 stories,
Oh,
everyone. So
awesome.
you
Awesome.
guys better start getting your stories in because pretty soon it's going to take some time for you to hear your story unless you get them in now.
And a bunch of you are giving your stories in the comments on Facebook, but we need them in the email so we can print them out and we can actually read them and share them. So please email. The email will be in the description. So,
Yes. And we also we want you to like, we want you to follow, we want you to hit that bell notification. We want you to tell people about this. Recommend us. Word of mouth is going to be a huge way for us to build. Uh, this week we're being very industrious. We're going to figure out Spotify. We're going to figure out
you,
Apple, and we're going to.
you are. You got to figure out Spotify. You
I
have to
am,
figure
which
it out.
is really really iffy because I'm not very tech savvy, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We're still trying to figure out Substack, but Substack is gonna become important because that is where it is easiest for us to do our lives and to do the book club. Um, and we are gonna start the book club. We're gonna do a few more episodes, get ourselves like moving along here, and then we're gonna do that. Um, so make sure you're doing all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Send
sure.
us those stories. We did get one. We didn't get an actual serial killer in touch yet, but I have hopes. But we did get a serial killer, and I'm so sorry. I can't remember who sent it. I know I should with only 4, but I'm very easily confused and overtired. I was hanging out with Boy George. Um, BTK, creepy, creepy one. But anyway, so yes, that was exciting.
I would
Okay.
love it if people could send stuff through the emails. Anything I think one person in the comments was talking about they live like right next door to one of the victims, and another person said that they were outside with their kids and Ted Bundy was on the street. They saw him and they ran back in the house. And I was like, "Ooh, we need that in an email.
We need it, and
We've got to do
elaborate,
it. We
elaborate. Give us all the
yeah."
details. We want to be right there with you. We want to know everything. I want to know the weather. I want to know the smell in the air. I want to know everything. Um, so yeah. So anyway, just make sure you're really helping us push this out because as you can see, this is not only just creepy stuff, but it's nostalgia. We're just talking about, and we're all kind of need that right now, I think. So going back to a simpler time, we are officially that age where we're saying, oh, the simpler times, which were not that simple. Clearly, we had Satanic Panic, but
we had some crazy stuff, but it's fun to reminisce. And I've realized the other day, just because I keep seeing like celebrities like my age that keep dying, and I'm like, it's time. It has started. My dad used to check the obituary every week because he would have it sent from Vermont, and I'm like, that is so morbid. And now I'm over here like, damn, he's my age.
exactly.
This is the time in the Gen X dark humor way where we have started its last man standing time. Let's go. Let's reminisce and we'll see who's left. And I don't know what happens at the end, but
But
we're all here.
instead of sitting rocking on our front porch with our lemonade and whatever, we're like still wearing our Doc Martens and our like we're just not we're not giving up. There's not going to be sitting on the front porch for us.
No.
um but anyway, all right. Well, next week we are going to officially, because we're not really done with toys or cartoons, we do our first deep dive, which is going to be into Dungeons and Dragons and all the craziness that went on with Satanic Panic in that
That
game.
was insane.
Yes, so come back next week. Next week we are, I don't want to say God willing, Satan willing. We we are
Maybe.
going to be on Thursday. The goal is to come out every Thursday this week. Vin was very cooperative with me because this is a crazy week for me.
Boy George.
Boy George.
I can't compete with Boy George. I just can't.
Not many people can. Not many
No.
people can.
No.
Um, so all right, well, we hope you enjoyed. We hope you're gonna jump into the comments and
Wherever they are, maybe.
the
I
other.
don't know where they put on my iPad. It's here.
Oh,
Sometimes
really?
here.
Yeah, on my phone and on my laptop it's here, but iPads have to just be all contrary. But all right, we will see you next week. Bye.